What is good, my reflections? What is good, my babies? You are officially over here with Terethia. Let me make sure that y'all can hear me. Hold on one second, because I don't want us to be going through this whole video and y'all can't hear me. So make sure you have hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't, because you are over here with my crew, and this is how we do. Okay. Now, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am Sarithia. We talk about various different topics over here. We talk about all type of stuff that do you believe in magic. But this week we have actually been discussing the different alien races. Okay. Now, we talked about the small grays, we talked about the tall grays, we talked about the tall whites, and now we are here to talk about the Arcturians. Okay. Now, I know I got up here the Lyrans, we're going to talk about them too, but let's start off talking about the Arcturians. Okay. Now, when you think of your star seeds and different things like that, you would think of the Arcturians. Okay. Now, the Arcturians are actually from a constellation called Buddhist. Okay, or Butes, which however you would like to pronounce it. As you can see up there and right below it, you see it's Arcturus, right? So that's where you get the name Arcturians, right? So this is the alien race that we know on Earth as the star seeds, okay? And you have seen them in movies, where you seen them depicted in movies like Star Trek and Alien versus Predator and different things like that, okay? So if they put it in the movies, then you know it's already been done, okay? Everything isn't science fiction. I believe, me personally, most science fiction movies are for real, but that's just my opinion, okay? So let's go up and let's talk a little bit about the Arcturians before we get into the Lyrans. Now, we've been talking about a couple of aggressive alien races, and remember I told you all of them are aggressive. So that's where we get the Arcturians from, right? This is a very peaceful alien race right here. Now the Arcturians actually stand out more than any other alien race because of their skin complexion, right? Because they have a very deep blue lapis type of skin complexion, right? So that's another key sign when you do see the Arcturians, all right? Now, the Arcturians also have been known to have very big eyes. Now, I know you can't really tell in this picture, but they have like a big mouth, big eyes, and very large brains, okay? If they got large brains, these are very intelligent beings. Not only are these are very intelligent beings, these beings are actually very beautiful. Reflection. Now, they just because something look different from you don't mean it's not beautiful, right? So they have been known to be one of the most beautiful beings among the galaxy, right? Now, what is very unique about this particular alien race is they are asexual. Now, what do I mean when I say they are asexual? That means they all are the same sex. Okay, so they all are the same sex. They don't need a male or they don't need a female to reproduce. Now, speaking of reproducing among the Arcturians, they actually reproduce in a very a different type of way. Some of the alien races, they reproduce just like we do sexually, right? Okay, so this one, since they're being asexual, they don't need a mate to reproduce. Now, they actually have a bag on them, kind of like kangaroos, right? You see how the kangaroo have their bag where they hold their baby in? That's kind of what the Arcturians have on them. It's very similar to the kangaroos. Now, these are beings that self-clone. So they actually clone themselves. Remember, they're asexual, right? So how do they know when to clone themselves? They clone themselves when they actually become of a certain age or their body become damaged or something like that. They actually will form a sac where they will perform, they will actually form a clone up in this little sack, kind of like the kangaroo, right? And once the clone matures, it actually leaves that bag or that sack, and the consciousness is transferred into the new body. What? Yes. So whatever level of consciousness that being had at the time of the birth of the clone, all of that knowledge transfers over to that to the clone. You know how when we are born, our memory is erased from our past lives, right? It's not the case with the Arcturians. They consciousness just keeps it starts right where it stopped at. You get what I'm saying? So that's another reason why these beings are so intelligent, right? Now, the baby acquires all of the knowledge from the parent. So if everything that that parent knew, everything that parent had experienced, is now transferred over to the baby. Not only that, this is one of the oldest races in the universe. The Arcturians are, okay. Keep in mind, this is a peaceful race of aliens, right? They're known as the star seeds on Earth, right? Now, with them being the oldest race in the universe, they are the most advanced race. Okay, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to technology, this is the most advanced race in the universe. One of them. Okay, you get what I'm saying? But they're the oldest. All right, look how they pass their knowledge on to their newborn or the clone reflection. Is I mean, how can they not be one of the most spiritually and technology advanced race in the universe? And not only that, with them being so spiritually evolved, with them being so good at technology, they actually help other races reach a higher level of consciousness. When you think about star seeds, that's what star seeds are. Star seeds are literally put here to help raise the vibration of the planet, right? So that's where the Arcturians actually come in, that they are here to help us advance and become higher in consciousness. Okay, now this is a two-part video. We're going to talk about the Arcturians and we're going to talk about the Lyrans. All right. So now that we have talked about the Arcturians, let's get on to the Lyrans. All right. Now, in the last video, I told you that we were going to be talking about the Lyran expansion. Now, what is the Lyran expansion? We finna get into that now. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we're going to talk about at least 34 different extraterrestrials. We finna get through one reflection. I don't want you to miss a video. If you haven't already, went over there to www.rumble.com. Taretha Perez, the name is the same across every platform. Definitely go over there. I get into a lot of conspiracy theories, Hollywood Unlocked, that type of stuff over there on Rumble. I'm very uncut over there. I don't put the same stuff on YouTube that I do on Rumble. So definitely go over there to Rumble, subscribe, show your girl some love. Show me some love. And don't forget to hit that bell, okay? So you never miss out on the video. Now, let's get into the Lyran expansion. Now, we talked about the fucking reptilians. We talked about those Dracos reflection. They knocking down family trees and shit. That's the aggressive race of reptilians. Okay, that's the aggressive race of aliens that go through and they conquer planet to planet reflection. They always looking for some shit. They always taking shit without asking. Their parents never taught them manners. They didn't teach them to ask before they, you get what I'm saying? They never taught them to keep their hands to they self and shit. That type of shit. That type of shit. They knock down family trees reflection. We talking about the Dracos and the reptilians, okay? Because it's different type of reptilians. But let me read you this quote right here that actually came from a scientist, not a scientist, an astronaut. His name was Scott Carpenter. He said, "In no time while in space were the astronauts alone. They were constantly being monitored by UFOs." Keep that in mind, reflection. These UFOs are always constantly watching shit. They are always monitoring things. Okay. UFOs, even though it's becoming a thing now, UFOs have been spotted all the way in the Egyptian times, reflection. That's why when you look back on hieroglyphics, you see things that what we would call today spaceships. The first airplane, reflection, came from the fucking Egyptians. I forgot what it was called. Was it called the Varmana, some shit like that? I'm gonna look it up. I don't want to give you false information, but all of that actually came from way back when, from these extraterrestrials coming here, giving them knowledge. Hit the like and subscribe button. You over here with Sariti in there. Now, let's get into the Lyrans. As you get to see, the Lyrans, there now this race right here is one of the most complex race of all of the extraterrestrials, because it is over 400,000. Did you hear what I said? Over 400,000 different races of Lyrans. Most of them are humanoids or hybrids, but it's all different kind of Lyrans. This is a very complex race right here. Now, keep in mind, the Lyrans, this is another peaceful race, but The Lyrans are an example of why you gotta have a little bad in you. Just like as much as good as you are, sometimes you need to know you need to know a little bad shit. You need to know how to protect yourself. Everybody don't come in fucking peace. And the Lyrans had to learn that shit the hard way. They had to learn the hard way. Reflection. They came over there, the Anunnakis came over there and told them this, y'all better get y'all some mass weapons of fucking destruction over here. I know y'all trying to raise the vibration and shit around the planet, but I'm trying to tell you, them Dracos, they coming from planet to planet, knocking down family trees. They ain't came over to Sirius because they know we'll slap the shit out their ass. But I know y'all of peace and shit. I know y'all a piece of shit, but I'm just telling y'all them bows and arrows and shit, y'all gonna need something else over here because them Dracos is knocking down family trees. And I heard that they finna bring their ass over here to Lyra. Y'all better get your shit together. The Lyran said we come in peace. We gonna meditate that bad energy away. Don't come over here with that low vibrational shit. Take your ass back to Sirius. The Anunnaki jump back on the spaceship and they got the fuck out of there and said, fuck them. Listen, I'm just trying to tell you what happened. All right, hit the like and subscribe button. You over here with Radio, and this is how we do when we over here with my crew. Now let's get into the Lyrans. The Lyrans were actually native to the constellation Lyra. That's where you get Lyrans from, right? Reflection. And these keep in mind is different beings, okay? But they are actually from a planet that's very similar to Earth. Now keep in mind they had to relocate and shit. That's where the Lyran expansion came from. We're gonna talk about that. But they are from a planet that's very similar to Earth. It's called Kepler 438 and Kepler 442, I think. Now, those two places are very similar to Earth. The atmosphere is very similar to Earth. Okay. Now, remember, I told you it's over 400,000 races of these Lyrans, right? They have the giants, they have the humanoids, they have the hybrids, they have the felinoids, um they have the I think it's called the Avanians. I think that's what they call the Avanians. It's a bunch of them. Reflection, okay? So let's get back to how we got to this point. How did we even get to the Lyran expansion? Okay. And what is the Lyran expansion? This is one of the biggest wars that happened through one of them, the biggest wars that happened throughout the galaxy. Reflection. Now, the reptilians, remember I told y'all they was going knocking down family trees, going from planet to planet. They mama didn't teach them to keep their fucking hands to themselves. You get what I'm saying? So the reptilians noticed that these are very peaceful beings, and they preyed on the weak. Reflection. So the reptilians, they went over there and they did a massive invasion of Lyra, okay? And it forced the Lyrans to actually flee from their planet. Keep in mind, these were peaceful beings. The Anunnaki had came and told them they better get some weapons of mass destruction. They tried to let them borrow a couple, you get what I'm saying, Uzis and boozies around there, but they didn't want none of that. They said they was gonna meditate this shit away. And the Anunnaki tried to tell them, listen, that meditation ain't gonna fucking work with the Dracos. That's not gonna work with these fucking reptilians. You need some weaponry around here, but they didn't want that shit. They didn't want that shit. So when the reptilians came, they had no way to, they couldn't meditate off them bullets. Reflection. They couldn't meditate them lasers. Reflection. They was knocking down family trees. I'm trying to tell you. So when the reptilians came over their reflection, they had no way to defend themselves because this is a spiritually and technology advanced race, but not military. They didn't think when they was doing the technology advancements and shit, y'all need to advance some weaponry and shit around here. They went into that. Reflection. They about raising the consciousness and higher vibrations and meditation and all that shit. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, but sometimes as much good as you need to know how to protect yourself. Reflection, because everybody don't want to raise the vibration of the planet. Some people just want to come take some shit, and that's those reptilians. Hit the like and subscribe button. You go over here with Teresa. So the Lyrans, they didn't know how to defend themselves against these reptilians, and remember it's over 400,000 races. So half of those races, reflection, they had to get the fuck on down. Us them reptilians was gonna breed with their ass. They was gonna take some. They was finna take some. Reflection. I'm not talking about just land and shit. I'm not talking about reflection. They was gonna fuck around and make them another type of hybrid. So they had to get their shit and get the hell on up out of there. They went to different planets reflection, and that's known as the Lyran expansion because they had to go to different planets and expand and rebuild. And you get what I'm saying? The shit, they weren't finna mate with them damn reptilians. They had them fucked up. Listen, Lyra said, hell no, y'all can have all this shit because we not going. Now keep in mind, I told y'all they was from a planet similar to Earth called Kepler 438 and Kepler 442. But keep in mind, Lyra, which is a constellation, is not just home to the Lyrans. Who else was there? The Pleiades. It was a couple Pleiades there, a couple races they call Earthlings. They had the Vegans there, they had the Centaurians there, they had the Orions there. So keep in mind, it wasn't just the Lyrans who them reptilians was trying to come and take shit over and mate with and do all type of scientific experiments and shit on. You get what I'm saying? They weren't finna go for that shit. Them folk got the fuck on down, and I don't blame them. Listen, you ain't finna have me scaled up. I'm just saying, reflection. But that's just how them reptilians got down. Now, a lot of Lyrans actually came and settled on Earth. But keep in mind, I told you it was different type of Lyrans, right? I told you it was the giants. They had the felinoids, they had the hybrids, but the humanoids, which they kind of look a little human, those are the ones that came and settled on Earth. Okay. Now it's even been said that some of the when you go back into certain religions and certain beliefs of the fallen angel and the Nephilim giants, keep in mind I did tell you some of the Lyrans were considered giants. It was said that some of those were the Lyrans. Okay, some of those giants in those books that they was talking about with Teresa, them books. Now, keep in mind when it comes to the felinoids, which is another type of a Lyran, they are actually depicted as deities in Greek mythology. So when you look at Greek mythology and different things like that, that's when you see the Lyrans, right? But I also wanted to talk about the war between the reptilians and the Lyrans. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all watch a little clip. We done talked about it. We done talked about them reptilians don't keep their hands to their fucking self. They was over there trying to do all type of experiments on the Lyrans. They was trying to take they home and shit. You get what I'm saying? Listen, they ain't never been shit. Reflection Papa was a Rolling Stone. Well, if they laid their spaceship, they treated it like it was their fucking home. And they home didn't even have resources and shit like that. But they trying to come take over other people planet. They don't even ask, and they sneaky as hell to Reflection. But you gotta give it to them. Those are military strategic. That's a military strategic race. If you in the fucking war, you made them reptilians. I'm just saying. They taught them war as soon as they came out. As soon as they dropped on their planet, baby. As soon as they mama spit them out, pew, baby. They was teaching them military because that race right there, Reflection. They don't play. Wherever they come to, Reflection, they not leaving. They not leaving till they take over shit. They don't give a damn. And sometimes your enemy, keep in mind, sometimes it ain't about how you win the war as long as you won the war. It ain't about how they made them folks flee from their planet. The point is they not there no more, Reflection. And they were very, sometimes they come with you straight up, head up, like, listen, I'm finna take this shit over. And sometimes, Reflection, they come all sweet. They come with smiles. And what I tell you, a smile ain't shit but a frown turned upside down. Whatever they gotta do to accomplish their mission, this race will do it. They don't give a damn. A win is a win to them. It don't matter how they get it. It don't matter how long it take them. They know it's never an answer defeat. They don't like it. Okay. Now let's watch a video about this war between the Lyrans and the Reptilians. Hit the like and subscribe
The
button.
Lyran Draconian Wars were ancient cosmic conflicts that shaped our known universe, and it all began in Lyra. The Lyra constellation was home to the Lyrans and Vegans. Their civilizations flourished for millions of years and were known for advanced societies and peace. But right next to Lyra lay the Draco constellation, home of the Draconians, a race of dark, service-to-self beings originating from another universe. The original Draconian lineage is a race known as the Chiakar, aggressive and violent beings. They have a caste system based on genetics. The upper echelon are the dragons that we recognize from stories and mythology here on Earth. These beings of immense power are neutral and can swing between light and dark depending on their whims. These mysterious reclusive dragons are not inherently evil and prefer to stay out of conflict. The middle echelon are the Reptilians, known as the warrior caste. Standing 8 feet tall with alligator-like jaws, long tails, and thick green scales, these Reptilians were master geneticists and ruthless conquerors. They viewed reality as a battlefield and used their control of time and space corridors to raid worlds across the cosmos. And at the bottom were the lower echelon Reptilians, the ancestors of Earth's reptiles and dinosaurs, genetically engineered by the Draconians in experiments carried out here and in systems like Sirius and Orion. The Draconians were driven to explore space to search for food, as their own planets were barren and lacking in resources. This search would lead them to the rich, lush planets in Lyra. 572 million years ago, Lyran humans had begun developing space travel. They were building their civilization with cooperation and vision. Then, the sky darkened. Massive ships from Alpha Draconis descended. The Draconians came and saw the beautiful Lyran planets with all the abundance and natural resources. They wanted to conquer and control them. At first, the Lyrans and Draconians were cautious, both suspicious. The Draconians, having developed interstellar travel over 4 billion years ago, appeared to offer a deal: resources in exchange for technology. But this was a lie. The Draconians used this as an opportunity to scout out weaknesses. Then they struck, without warning. They annihilated 14 planets. The Lyrans were a peaceful race that never knew war, violence, and deception. They had no weapons to defend themselves. Bila, Tika, Merc, Avion, and Avalon, obliterated. Over 50 million Lyrans were slaughtered. The survivors were forced to flee, escaping across the galaxy. This was humanity's first experience of war and deception, and it wouldn't be the last. The Draconians began using human beings as slaves and food. They experimented on Lyran prisoners. They bred with them. This trauma set the tone for millions of years of galactic struggle. The surviving Lyrans scattered to the Pleiades, Andromeda, Sirius, Orion, Cassiopeia, and other star systems. Wherever they went, they adapted and seeded new civilizations. They became survivors, but the Draconians didn't stop. They knew they needed water, so they placed ships near water-rich systems to block access and drive them out. This conflict of light versus dark has shaped our galaxy for millions of years. The Reptilians made their stronghold in Orion. Earth became affected 300,000 years ago when the Reptilians invaded and won a critical battle here. But not all Reptilians served the dark. Some split away and chose the light. Most Draconians operate in 4th density, just beyond human sight. But they can manifest in the 3rd density if they choose. Ultimately, the Lyran-Draconian wars helped to shape our universe in many ways. From the Draconians came our planet's dinosaurs and reptiles. From the Lyrans came the humanoid races and feline beings whose descendants include lions, tigers, and domestic cats. Our lineage is galactic. Our future is still being written. If you feel a connection to these ancient wars, please.
All right, and we are back. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, we have talked about the Lyrans today or tonight whenever you hit this video. And we have also talked about the Arcturian race, okay? Now, if you missed our other videos where we talked about the tall whites, the tall grays, the Zeta Reticularies, which are the small grays, definitely go over their reflection and get into it because you want to know who we talking about because all these races go together. I'm putting them together so when we get to talking about the other races, we already know what happened and shit. We already know by the time we get to talking about them Dracos, you gonna already know the planets that they done conquered. You already know they ain't shit. You already know they got bad manners. They ain't got no home training reflection. They mama didn't teach them to keep their fucking hands to themselves. Damn them dragons that teach them to keep their hands to themselves. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, Definitely give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring my bell so you never miss out on a video. And until next time, Ashe.